Since it's been a little while, about 6 months since I've posted on this YouTube channel, let me say a little something about the last 6 months. I set out on June 6th to ride my motorcycle across the country, and on this trip I was able to fulfill my goal. Now I have ridden to all 48 of the contiguous states, and it was just an amazing adventure, and I'll share more about it as time goes on, because I didn't want to share it when I was doing it as much. I shared some Instagram posts and some other stuff, and some that goes on Facebook and whatever. And of course, I shared a lot of music on my Steve McAlphabet channel. And if you want to support me as an artist, please go to Steve McAlphabet on YouTube here and watch some of those videos, share them with people, learn how to play some of the songs if you want to. But those have been going out all summer long, and a handful of people have seen those, as I've had a new song coming out every week this year. But the trip was amazing. It was all in all about an 84-day trip from Sarasota to Seattle and then back to Western North Carolina. And I'm fortunate that I have a friend named Adam Tabrouge who is running for state senate there, and I suggest you vote for him. But he has a house he let me stay in, so I had about 3 weeks in the mountains of Western North Carolina, and I get to revisit places that I've lived before and visited before and loved, like Asheville and Biltmore Village and Marshall, Black Mountain, and many waterfalls along that area. And then after 3 weeks of enjoying some solitude and recovery from my trip, I came back to Sarasota, and I rode the longest I've ever ridden in a single day, 640 miles in one day, to get all the way back here to the Sarasota area, like midnight on Monday night. Thursday, I was at this house, which I am house sitting for a friend for the next little while, and this is where I watched Helene. These are hurricane graded windows there, and I was able to watch that storm come in over this bay. And for me, as a native Floridian who has ridden out many a hurricane, this was probably my most enjoyable experience. Of course, the next day, seeing the devastation that was done here to so many of my friends' homes, and also to Western North Carolina, these places I just visited, was just pretty devastating. So I helped a few friends and to save whatever we could of their houses that had been flooded. And then we started looking at Milton coming in. Now, there was a time on the trajectory of Milton when they were saying this is where it's going to go, where it was going to be coming right through this house. And while it was a very safe place to watch Helene from, because she was 140 miles out that way, I didn't really want to ride out a hurricane that was coming like right at me. And my parents are in town, and I felt that I needed to be with them through this one, because it was going to be a big one. And as it was, we did evacuate my parents' house, and we went to a shelter at Fruitville Elementary School, where I've often been a substitute teacher, and was actually just there on Friday as a substitute. And that was the first time I'd ever gone to a shelter for a hurricane. I've never really evacuated for hurricanes before, other than not being here, which has been my goal, to not be here from June to September, so that I would avoid the heat and avoid the hurricanes. Yet here we are. Now I got to ride out 2 of them as if they were waiting for me. So since then, obviously being largely unemployed with substitute teaching, since the schools have been closed for about 3 weeks, and really not many tours going on because the place is a shambles. But I have been able to do 2 of them, and I've also been out doing some typewriter poetry, which I really enjoy that experience of being able to take someone's ideas, something they want to communicate, and writing them a custom poem on my typewriter. It's one of a kind work of art, and they get to pay what they want for it, because, as I told someone the other day who only had $1, my poems are priceless. It's a priceless experience. It's a priceless work of art. Each one is a unique thing. And so I can't put a dollar amount on that, And so I had this one girl pay me $1 the other day for a poem. Shortly after, a man paid me $40 for his poem. So it all works out. But I live an abundant life. As you can see, I'm very blessed on the places that I get to stay in the world, and I'm just very grateful and live in a constant state of gratitude. Although I do make some terrible choices along the way, sometimes, of how I spend the 1,440 minutes I have every day. And part of me has been very reluctant to share my life because of some of the shame that I still endure, some of the depression that I still have to work my way through every day. And to be honest, it's sometimes difficult to be thinking about the idea of doing something like this and sharing this with the world. But I feel as if I want to get in front of people. I want to communicate. I want to play my songs. I want to share my poems. I want to do stand-up comedy. And stages are hard to come by sometimes. And I don't always get the opportunity to do that. So I'm using this space to rehearse and to write and to reflect and to prepare for this next chapter. And so through this YouTube channel, I'm going to be sharing those steps along the way and seeing where I go from there, because yeah, it was a really extraordinary trip over these last 6 months, and the next 6 months are going to be pretty interesting as well. So I will be keeping you informed of all that, I suppose, and we'll go from there. But now I got a little bit of an idea of how my last 6 months have been. And if you watched this far, hey, thanks. I appreciate it that you care. I really do, because I don't always feel that. But have a wonderful day, and I'll post again about something other that I want to talk about later on.